Did you know that over 60% of cyber attacks exploit weak network security? Hackers are constantly evolving, but most businesses rely on outdated defenses. What if your firewall isn't enough? In this video, you'll discover the critical difference between firewalls and intrusion prevention systems, IPS, and how combining them can stop attacks before they cripple your network. Stay until the end to learn the #1 mistake companies make with their cybersecurity and how to fix it. Firewalls and intrusion prevention systems. In this course, we'll look at the roles of two different types of network devices: the firewall and IPS, intrusion prevention systems, which is an intrusion prevention system. Both of these devices work to secure networks, but with slightly different goals and approaches. So, let's look at the main feature of firewalls and IPS. Traditionally, a firewall sits in the path of IP packets, so it can choose which packets to reject or allow. This means that the firewall protects the network from various problems by allowing only legitimate traffic to enter and leave the network. In fact, basically, a firewall works like a router configured with ACLs, access control list, except that, in addition to performing the packet filtering function, it will have many other possible options based on security. The diagram shows us a network design that uses a physical firewall. In the example, this is a Cisco ASA device, which is connected directly to a router, and that router is connected to the internet. In this configuration, all corporate traffic to or from the internet would necessarily pass through the firewall, and it is he who chooses the type of pass packages according to his own rules. Even if the firewall works like a router, in terms of packet filtering, it still has much more advanced security features than a traditional router. We will now detail the main functions that a firewall uses to choose whether or not to allow a packet. As with ACLs on a router, the firewall matches the source and destination IP addresses. It can also, like routers, identify applications by matching TCP and UDP ports. Unlike a router, the firewall can monitor application layer flows to know which TCP and UDP ports are being used. It is also able to examine a web address to decide whether to allow or deny the download of the web page. And it will keep all the information about each packet that is passed through, and as a result, will be able to make future decisions on packet filtering based on history. This is called stateful inspection or stateful firewall. The main difference between router ACLs and firewalls is that the latter is able to prevent a variety of attacks, thanks to its security filtering. It is important to entrust security to a firewall rather than a router, so that the latter can focus on routing packets. In addition, the router cannot take the time to keep a filtering history to modify its next decisions. While the firewall focuses mainly on the security of the network and allows you to record all the information about the packets that have passed. This allows him to modify his future filtering decisions. The advantage of this type of stateful inspection is that, for example, if an attacker uses a simple denial of service DOS attack on a web server, sending numerous TCP connection requests, and the stateful firewall, using its own history, could then begin to filter out these types of packets, which will allow the web server to survive the attack. A stateful firewall can track the number of TCP connections per second. That is, it records state information based on previous packets, including the number of TCP connection requests from each client IP address to each server address. This is why, during a denial of service DOS attack, it is able to notice a large number of TCP connections, check your status information, and to filter out packets that are too repetitive. While a stateless firewall or router with ACLs would have no history of realizing it, a denial of service attack is occurring. Firewalls not only filter packets, but also pay close attention to the host that initiates the communications. They use logic that considers the host, observing these TCP segments. For example, on the diagram, in order for the PCs of the users on the left to access the web server behind the internet, a road must be opened. The problem is that the company does not want users who are on the web server S network to be able to access, for example, their payroll server. This is where the firewall comes in, as they use a zone-like concept. That is, there are rules that define which host can initiate connections from one zone to another. The advantage of segmenting into multiple zones is that the firewall can place several of these interfaces in the same zone in order to retrieve the security rules of the zone. In the diagram, the indoor area, which is the company's area, is considered to be in a separate area from the interfaces connected to the internet. For example, one could place a rule on the firewall that would allow hosts in the inner zone to establish connections with hosts in the zone outside on a specific set of ports, such as port 80 for HTTP. Just with this rule, left-hand users can start sessions with the web server located on the internet. And since firewalls usually prohibit all traffic, except that of these own rules, well, users on another network would not be able to establish a session on the corporate network. Most companies therefore have an indoor and outdoor area. They can also have a third zone, which is called the DMZ, demilitarized zone. This is a firewall security area used to place servers that need to be available to internet users. On the diagram, we see the DMZ zone, which contains two web servers, connecting directly to the firewall. The firewall will therefore need to have a rule, which allows users in the outer area to establish connections to the company's web servers in the DMZ. Separating the web servers in the DMZ allows the company to prevent internet users from accessing devices in the indoor area. They therefore find themselves isolated from any attack. Intrusion, prevention, systems, IPS. Traditionally, a firewall works with a set of rules configured by the network admin. An intrusion prevention system, IPS, an IPS also filters packets, but it also makes decisions based on different logic. The IPS first downloads a database that comes from the vendor, much like an antivirus would. This database contains a set of exploit signatures. This allows it to analyze packets more deeply, with the latest security of the day. Unlike the firewall, where it is the network admin who defines the rules, on an IPS, these own rules, which are called signatures, are managed by its provider. These signatures allow it to search for different types of attacks, such as DOS attacks, DDoS, the worms, and viruses. The basic principle is the same as how an antivirus works on a user PC, except that the IPS will react faster to new threats in order to protect the hosts.